Hey guys, I have been wearing barefoot shoes for 1.5 years straight until they literally broke. Let's find out what I learned through this process. So these are the barefoot shoes that I was wearing for 1.5 years. I was wearing them all the time, almost, at least in casual day-to-day life. And the brand is Merrell or Merrell, but Merrell sounds French, and because it doesn't have an E at the end, I'm gonna assume that it's Merrell, so an anglicized version of the name. And I really liked the design. I really liked these shoes. I like how they look, and they definitely have a bigger toe box than any conventional shoes, so they don't squeeze your toes together like conventional shoes do. But don't expect to get the splayed toes effect with this type of barefoot shoes. You can only get that, in my experience, from the shoes, the barefoot shoes that are with splayed toes, which kind of makes sense if you think of it. But it's not exactly like that, because with these shoes, because they have a wide toe box, all the toes, except for the small one, the last one, they are gonna get more splayed. They will have more space to open up, but the last one will still be pressing against that side of the shoe, so it will still be a little bit deformed, like, you know, with conventional shoes. Now the problem is that I cannot wear splayed toes barefoot shoes on a day-to-day basis. I could do it maybe in training, but I don't want to wear them and go out like that, because they kind of look a little spooky, and they are a little off-putting to a lot of people. It looks to them like you're walking barefoot, which you're not, but you know, that's how it feels. That's how it feels to people. And I also don't like the aesthetics very much, to be honest, of looking like you are barefoot. It's maybe a personal thing. I'm guessing a lot of other people are like that, though, because a lot of people are not at ease with, you know, people wearing barefoot shoes with splayed toes. Anyway, let's see the damage that was done to this shoe. Now, the fabric that it's made of is pretty sturdy and nothing happened to it. And you know the kind of archaic expression at this point, go kick rocks? That's kind of what I do sometimes with my shoes. I'm not thinking of my shoes first and then of myself. When I have to do something, I don't really think of my shoes very much, except for the suitability. That's something I think about. But I'm not gonna live my life according to preserving my shoes. That's not the purpose of shoes. What I'm saying is, the shoes serve the man, not the man serves the shoes. They're a tool for doing things and living your life, and they will wear out at some point. But the way in which they wear out is interesting, because if you want to buy these shoes, now you can know how they wear out, where they wear out, which are the tough parts, which are not the tough parts, etc. For example, this fabric that they're made of, which kind of looks like leather, although it's got some kind of fabric on the inside, of course, it's got some lining. It is really sturdy and nothing happened to it, even through the roughest of circumstances. I don't see anything on it, literally anything, like maybe a little scratch here, but you can barely see it. It's really tough. Nothing's gonna happen to it. Now, the one thing that happened, and it kind of started happening somewhat early. I remind you that this lasted 1.5 years. I never had sports shoes that lasted that long, not even close. But something that happened kind of first is that this edge of the shoe kind of started to separate. The sole started to separate from the rest of the shoe. That's a typical weak point in shoes in general, because that's where, you know, your toes bend, and then that bending action, that constant bending action, may cause the shoe to split there. And of course, since barefoot shoes are very thin, and since I actually did not go easy on them with walking on rocks and generally just sharp or jagged things, which really hurts the foot when you're wearing these, but yeah, I did it anyway. So that's probably why they burst at some point. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, like a whole chunk went off. You can also see that the wear was greater at the heel, and also here at the balls of the feet, and also the big toe. That's where the bottom of the shoe became very smooth. And you can see that they were pressed and rubbed against things more on these areas. which makes sense. Of course, the arch of the foot did not step on anything very much, so you can see that the shape of the shoe is more or less intact. So these shoes, the Merrell shoes with Vibram soles, whatever, they cost around, when I got them at least, they cost around €100. And now I got something which is significantly cheaper to try it out. And that is this brand, which is SAGUARO. SAGUARO is a much cheaper brand. I can kind of tell why. They're using different materials. Like that kind of thick leathery material, if it's leather, I'm not sure. But it's only used just for this strip. Yeah, okay, this strip and also this bit here, with the laces. The rest of it is some kind of very thin material, very flimsy. It's like neoprene, actually. Might be neoprene, in fact. It really looks like it. And what I can tell you is when I'm wearing these, my toes are a lot less limited than with the other ones, because that leathery material was a lot tougher than this. With this, when I try to raise my toes in the shoe, it just raises the fabric without the rest of the sole following. That's how soft this fabric is. So I'm guessing that the splayed toes effect will be noticeably bigger with these shoes than with the other ones. They also have a different kind of bottom. The sole at the bottom is different. It's got some squares and they are a little bit thicker. The total width of the sole is a little bit thicker than the other shoes. Might be a little bit tougher too, we'll see. And the way that they're built, when you step on something, it seems like these squares kind of lock into each other, which might actually help with durability. But we'll see about that. On the other hand, I don't know how durable the neoprene fabric will be when it comes in contact with, jagged rocks or sharp things. We'll have to see about that. But either way, this shoe is really comfortable. It's the most comfortable shoe I've ever put on. It restricts my toes a lot less than the other shoe, and the other shoe was already doing great in that area. And it also doesn't have laces. You don't have laces here, you just have this clip thing that you just fasten. And yeah, another cool thing is that these cost around €40 compared to 100 with the other ones, which is less than half. So even if they last half the time compared to the other pair of shoes, you can still get two of them and still have €20 left at the end. So yeah, let's hope they last 3/4 of a year. Then I'm happy. So let's talk about what else changed on my feet since I started wearing barefoot shoes. One thing is that I got a lot better ankle stability. My ankles became a lot stronger. They became the strongest they've ever been. I mean, I always had kind of strong ankles. Might be because of martial arts, because we were barefoot and kicking and all that stuff. I don't know. Maybe, probably has something to do with it. But with barefoot shoes, that's the best. That's the best thing that I've ever done for my ankle stability. I literally cannot twist an ankle at this point. I really feel it's impossible. And you know what's more, with barefoot shoes, because they're just so shallow and so flat, it's also not so easy to twist an ankle. With the other shoes that have a big sole, like those basketball shoes and whatnot, the sole is so thick that it's really easy that your foot will actually roll onto that, or twist onto that, and you twist your ankle. With these ones, you cannot do that. I mean, you just step flat on the ground. So how are you going to twist the ankle? I don't know. But even if I wear other shoes now with my ankles, they're just so much stronger. I don't think it's possible for me to twist an ankle at this point. My knees are also working better, I think. I can feel a difference in strength. I can feel a difference in mobility now that I got used to the different, foot position, which is the natural foot position, which is why I think that I really feel like I'm healing my legs with wearing barefoot shoes for so long. Now, when you step on something like a rock with barefoot shoes, you will feel it. And by that, I mean it will hurt. Because the material is so thin and it's almost like you're wearing nothing, like you're walking barefoot, kind of like what it sounds like. But I have to say, after 1.5 years, my feet have gotten significantly tougher. It's nothing like when I started. Now I can step on something. It will still hurt, but maybe it's also a mental thing, but also the sole of my foot became tougher. But it's also a mental thing, I think, because, it's not affecting me mentally so much. I can still keep walking, and I mean, nothing bad happens to my feet, so what's the point of worrying so much? And just another word of warning, if you go the barefoot shoes way, which I personally recommend, is that short socks look ugly with barefoot shoes. You have to wear those socks that come almost in line with the shoe. Anything bigger than that will make you look really weird, like, I don't know, you're not wearing anything and there is a sock. Like, I cannot describe it, I just don't like it aesthetically myself. Or you wear longer socks with long trousers in the winter, of course, that's not a problem at all. But those half short socks, yeah, I wouldn't go for them anymore personally with these shoes. So this is an update on the barefoot shoes situation. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I would be interested in hearing your experiences with barefoot shoes and how they helped you. Or if they didn't help you, of course, we can hear that too. Personally, I'm very excited with them, and I'm still gonna wearing them on a day-to-day basis like I've been doing for 1.5 years now. I'd like to thank you all for watching and see you in the next one.